So, in ships at sea, when you get to tier 3, the fishing boat is gigantic, and there's a lot more processes that you have to do in order to bring in your fish. So what we're going to do in this video is go through how to make easy money longline fishing on the tier 3 boat. If we go to the computer quickly, you are going to see we have turbo, tier 3, over 18 meters in length, max speed of up to 14 knots with upgrades. There's a 10,000 litre capacity. It can take a little bit of cargo. It's got crew, even though that's not in the game at the moment, like at the time of me recording. But then we have 20 fishing gear, and there are humongous fish quotas. So what we need to do with this is rig it up with Longline, which I've already done. And then I've done the engine upgrade and everything like that. Got it all installed. So if we run along the port at Rost and we go and find turbo, what you're going to need to buy for this, I mean, at tier 3 you've probably already done longline fishing, but you need to go to the shop, which is this white door over here, and you need to make sure you have a hook. So you've got the tier 3 boat, you've got it rigged up and everything, you need to buy that hook. I would also grab some circuit breakers, because there is like a technical room on this ship. And that's pretty much all you need. You can buy a drill. I don't know if you need to use the drill to do the circuit breakers or anything. But what we're going to do once we have that is head down. We're going to go to the fishery first so I can show you the stuff in there. So you'll see the monster that is turbo and it's docked right there. But we're going to come around to the left hand side and go to the fishery before we jump on board. Because there's quite a lot that's different, like comparing between tier 1, 2 and 3. So if we go to the fishery, you're going to need to purchase your long lines. You can go with the 2,500 hooks like you can on, is it Conquest, the tier 2? So it's going to be 500,000 to get max long lines. And then in terms of the bait, what you want to do is if we first go to the map and you find a fish habitat you want to go to. So I'm going to be going to this one in this video. I'm going to be targeting pollock because it's at 20%. The seasons are all funky with the fish. There's not really anything that's in season at the moment. And if I press tab and we go to help, you'll see fishing, fish types. You'll see that pollock can be caught doing longline. You'll see mackerel and also salmon can't be caught through longline. They are jigger and net only. So what we want to do at the fishery in terms of bait is look for the end of the description, best for catching cod. When it comes to pollock, you're not going to buy pollock bait. That's for catching catfish. You're going to be buying crab bait, which is best for catching pollock. So if we buy, like I've already bought loads of it. I've got like 72 on me. I think these 2,500 hook longline buckets, each of these 20 kilo blocks, it takes 2.5 of them. And I think it does refund them. If I remember correctly, I used 25 on the tier 2. So the tier 3 boat is going to use 50 20 kilo blocks. So it's 150 grand to get bait for one max like longline bucket session. And now if we board the ship, which is an absolute monster, we've got something called a bleeding box. So you'll see no fish on the bleeding table. We've got our haul-in thing here that we need the hook for. So if I press 2 and we get the hook out, we will need to interact with this when we're over a buoy, when we're retrieving the long lines. Then they go on the bleeding table. We can run along here and come into the cabin where we can drive the boat. But not only do we have to... I mean, it's still a little bit confusing navigating this boat. But if we climb down, we go back to where the bleeding box is. If we go all the way along here, you're going to see all of our buckets. And then we've got the double bucket dropper, whatever you want to call it. But if we go into here, we go upstairs, it leads you into the cabin where you can drive. But now, on tier 3, if you go downstairs, you've got, if I close the door, you've got the technical room. So in here, to the left, you've got these circuit breakers for the lights and your equipment and everything. And if we close the door, it's a little bit finicky. Once we've closed that, if we come to the other end, we've got the gutting room. So there's 2 gutting tables here. But there's also a storage box there. And if we go even further back, there is now fish sorting boxes. So you've got halibut here, you've got pollock there, and you've got cod there. Then you've got mixed for if you've caught a different fish. And you have to sort all of your stuff and then store the fish so that you can take it to like port and sell it. And if we climb back up, there's the little hatch there. You can climb down. So if we climb back up there. So now what we're going to do, now that I've shown you around the boat, is we're going to head to that habitat. I'm actually going to very quickly go back downstairs. I'm going to bait up the 2 buckets that we're going to be using in this video, just so I can show you guys how it all works and how to actually make money with this monster of a ship. If I got inventory, crab is going to be 0. So if I place the bait, then do it again, then one more time, then we do it 3 times for over here. And that's 2 buckets done. So I'm going to put the bait away. Grab the first one, place it. Grab the second one, place it. I love that there's a dual bucket system. And now if we undock, luckily this has thrusters. So holding shift A and D. I want to turn those thrusters off now. And away we go. So this is a gigantic fishing ship we've got. It's really, really slow, but it sounds cool. It looks good. We just now got to go and set those long lines. And believe it or not, even though it's massive, it seems like really sluggish. It's actually faster than Flippy, which is the tier 1, which is a small little, like you would think it's a really sort of like whippy quick ship. But Flippy's actually a little bit slower than this. So now we are in the fish habitat. What we're going to do is start casting the long line. It's going to take a little while. We've got to do 25 times as much as we've already done. Okay, so it's very scary doing this on your own when the water's choppy. It says there's a load of land around you. But the first bucket is now done. So we start casting the second. But what I'm going to do is spin this bad boy around whilst the second one's deploying. We're going to start working back towards the first one. And I will cut until we start retrieving these. Because this is going to take a good few minutes to get this long line deployed. And then after both of our long lines are deployed, you'll see I started there, dropped the second one, made it all the way back. What we're now going to do is, I can't actually see where the boys are in the water. Oh wait, no, I can kind of see them just over there, like directly in front of our boat. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to a standstill and we are going to rest. Now if we press tab, we go to help, fishing and long line. You'll see that they need to soak in water for approximately 12 to 17 hours for optimal results. So what we're going to do is we are going to wait until we're allowed to rest. We're going to rest for around 16 hours. That's perfect, 16.1. And once we're done with the resting, we are now going to go and retrieve them. So this is going to be quite tricky because we need to make it downstairs. Because what we need to do is get close to our boys and we need to wait for the semicircle to show up. So you'll kind of see it and we need to stop so that they are within that circle. Then we need to head downstairs and we need to equip our hooks. There's 2 on the quick slots for me. We need to come over to here and we need to start hauling. So then as the fish are coming up, we need to smack them with the hook. And there should be 5 hooks that come up. Some can be empty, although it doesn't make that much of a difference. And you're kind of just aiming for the fish's mouth. But once you have the fish on here, you need to move it to the bleeding tank. And if we carry on, so we smack this second one when it comes up. If it lets us get it, then we put it on the bleeding table. We can, move it to the bleeding tank. Then the 4th one coming up is a halibut, which is a nice catch all the time. And if we grab that one, again, put it in the, if it's going to let me, no, it's going to, yeah, there we go. Move it to the bleeding tank. And I believe this is going to be the final one. So once that hook comes all the way up, it's going to end that long line. And now you'll see all of our fish are in there. So what we need to do is open the hatch and send the fish to the production line. So now the bleeding box is empty. What we need to do is go downstairs into the gutting room. And we need to pull the lever, transfer fish to conveyor belt. Then we need to place the fish on the gutting table. And we now need to start gutting the fish. So we need to drag in a nice straight line if possible. And we get gutting quality and everything at the top. And that was the only one we needed to do. So we close and we return it to, is it the upper? And yeah, so when you do the upper, it goes through to the next room. And when it's in here, if we get the halibut to go through there, we need to pick up the fish to sort it into containers. So that's the mixed. Then we've got the halibut here. We place that fish in there, and this is a little bit, yeah, we'll leave that there for now, and we'll go do the other fish. So this is haddock, and this will go into the mixed one. So put it on the upper belt. When it comes through to the other room, it's got to go in the mixed, because we've only got halibut, pollock, and cod. So when that comes through, pick it up, put it in the mixed one. And now our storage box is empty. We've gutted them all. They've all come through. We've got all the pollock in here. We've got the mixed in there. And we've got the halibut there. So we caught no cod. What we're going to do now is store the fish. So that's going to send them all away. They're now out of the boxes. And if we climb up, you'll see if we go to boat inventory, we've got like 3 tons of haddock. We've got 1.4 tons of catfish. 2 tons of halibut. 4.7 and 4.7. We've got like 9.4 tons of pollock. And we're now going to go and we are going to retrieve our second line if I don't crash. So we've got the fish coming up and it's the exact same process. So we'll see fish come up and we smack at the hook and we grab the fish. We put it into the bleeding tank. Then we do the same for the other 4 hooks, providing there are fish on them. And after a little while, we are done with the gutting again. We've got 2 halibut that time, a couple of catfish, a little haddock, and then there's a bunch of small pollock. So we're going to store all of those fish. And we're supposed to have to move them onto the port ourselves, but I can't find where they're actually stored. I have no idea where they actually go, because they don't go in here. We've got like 4.5 tons of haddock. We've got 4 tons of halibut, 4 tons of catfish, and then there's what, I don't know, like 18, maybe even 19 tons of pollock. 2,000 fish. And that was all done with 2 long lines on this boat. So what we're going to do is set a nice route. If I set it up to get us back to Rost, I will see you guys when we get back to the dock. So if I put it into nav mode, put us into full speed, we've got no more long lines out here. We're moving. I think we've just left the habitat where we are. But I will see you when we get to Rost. That was a nice little trip. So we are now back at Rost, and if I get close enough to dock, there we go. It's not actually too bad docking these large tier 3 boats. If I can get out of my door though, and we can leave the boat, I don't think we need to do anything with the crane. I think we can just go fisheries. If we turn around and come over here. Yeah, so not bad at all. There were a couple of fish, like large halibut. I'm actually annoyed with that. The lowest quality there. So, yeah, there's an increase when you're gutting as well. It's not a humongous increase. I mean, it depends how many kilos you've got. But we've got, like, large haddock, highest is 24 kilos. 24 knock, sorry, or 24 krone. So, Norwegian krone per kilo. And then, yeah, the only thing I messed up with on the gutting was the medium pollock and the large halibut. That large halibut would have been worth quite a lot if I hadn't messed up the gutting. But still, it's relatively expensive to get into the tier 3 boat and get it all like rigged up with all the buckets and everything like that. But once you are going, this is very, very good money. And I'm going to say it's easy money, it's not quick money. This session has taken me bang on an hour. And that's just dropping 2 long lines. This boat can do 20. But with 2 long lines, 2,500 hooks on each, we are getting 706,000. So if we were to do a full session, and it was exactly the same as this, that'd be 7 million we would get just from one trip with max, like using max long lines on that boat. So if we sell all of the fish, I've gone up to 63.5 million again. And yeah, that was a very, very nice session. I wasn't actually expecting 700 grand from that, if I'm completely honest. I was expecting somewhere between maybe 400 and 600,000. But that was how to make easy money with the tier 3 fishing boat. I thought I'd do this video because it's not just dropping your long lines, retrieving them. It's not just dropping them, gutting the fish and sorting all that out. You've got the bleed tank. You've got to go underneath for the gutting. You need to sort them into their boxes and everything like that. So there's a much bigger process to catching fish in this boat. However, it's not much more difficult. In fact, it's not any more difficult. It's just knowing your way around the ship. And yeah, tier 3, it's easy money, very good money as well. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. I will see you guys in the next one.